Okay, so I guess in this next update, and I'm sorry for the big gap between last training update and this training update. I guess the main point that I wanted to bring across for this entry in regards to like just milestones during the many years of lifting and bodybuilding, I would say that the big thing that happened, and like here we're now running into the year 2010 or so, is that I got to really meet and form friendships with Jeff Alberts and Brad Loomis. So that's probably the biggest thing about this point in time in my lifting career, and something that now that I really stop and think about it and put it all together and really rack up the gains, I think the most monumental gains that I've gotten from this sport has been via the great relationships and friendships that I've been able to form through it. So I guess that's more important, and those relationships I'm pretty sure will be here with me long after like my physique starts to fade, which is still not for a very long time. And that's something that I would say that especially nowadays with social media, for those of you guys out there who are doing this thing alone, that it doesn't have to be that way, and that I would encourage you to really get out there, network, meet people, because that's honestly, when I rack it up, that's probably the best. Those have been the truly like most epic, wonderful gains have been just that. And that year was basically that was a big thing. We got to hang out with Jeff. We met him backstage at bodybuilding shows. I competed against Brad Loomis at a certain point, but yeah, and now we are like a band of brothers pretty much, and I can thank bodybuilding for that, for again just really improving my life where it really matters. And I think that's something that you don't really tend to appreciate until you get older, is the whole just how important just having those solid people, those solid relationships in your life truly is. I'll leave it there. We'll get rolling with the training footage, and I have some good stuff for you guys. So good news, training's been going really well, and I'll elaborate on that as we march forward into this week's, or this journal entry. I wouldn't say week, but here we go. I wanted to make more of an effort to just include more of my secondary movements, simply because I think the last few journal entries I perhaps have been just going over a lot of my big compound movements, and of course this is a vital part of my training. If I don't do this, I guess I would say it's safe to say I'd have a funny looking physique in regards to what is expected, what you're going for as a bodybuilder. So a lot of direct arm work actually. And I think during my next entry, what I'm going to do is go over the nuts and bolts of the programming, which I know many of you guys have been asking. And again, I really encourage you guys to not do exactly what it is that I'm doing, because it's something that I basically created for myself and my needs. I think still most of you guys will get more from these training updates from just the stuff that we do in the gym. How to perform certain isolation movements. And especially one thing I want to do a better job of doing is just being a bit more transparent when it comes to not just the highlights, but the lowlights. And perhaps, it's something that obviously I think it's not easy to share sometimes, since it's hard enough to deal with it on your own, but to kind of stop and I guess put that issue out there as small as it can be, like just having an off day with your squat or something. I think it's something that a lot of people can benefit from seeing, not just in regards to how you handle those mishaps, but also just really brings a point home that it's
never quite as easy or as perfect as I think sometimes it's made out to be. So yeah, a lot of direct arm work, and then this movement right here, this was a PR on my single arm pull downs. So I'm starting to actually add weight on that stack. I think that's 200 pounds, and yeah, it's something that I've been chasing after the stack for a while. I think what I'm going to do is keep the weight here most likely and work on those holds at the end, which I think it's a great way to really ensure that the muscles you're targeting are the ones working, is to just really give it a nice little hold at the end. And it's something that I do with both my rowing movements and then also other small movements where I'm pulling towards my body. So for example, a lateral raise, sometimes if I don't feel like I'm quite ready for the next increment, what I'll do is I'll just basically extend the time that I spent holding it at the top. This machine right here is replacing my kettlebell lateral raises because I was having issues with I think it was my left trap. So when I do this, it doesn't seem to bother me, and as you can see, it kind of puts you in the right place. And that's something I went over in those tutorial videos for our channel and Omar's channel. Is that a lot of these machines actually put you in a much better position than most people find themselves when they're trying to use strictly free weights for their lateral heads of their deltoids. Had to throw a seal row video in, which has been kind of stagnant of late actually, but I'm very optimistic that once I remove a little bit of the excess volume from my front squats, I think my upper back will be a little bit more fresh and ready when it comes time to progress. This is going to be my long head tricep movement for the next few weeks. Been dealing with some slight elbow tendonitis. It's on the mends actually. It's coming. It's getting back to 100%. And I completely forgot just how much I enjoy this movement. And it's a movement that, because I've done in the past quite a bit, I don't think it's going to take me very long to get into my groove. And again, that's one of the reasons that I don't like switching movements up, and I do believe that over time there should be, to some extent, less variations in regards to how many movements are part of your program, is because if you're constantly moving things around, you never really get to master them. And a lot of the initial, I guess, burst in progress is going to be simply because you're learning or relearning a movement. Pull-throughs have been a big part of these last few weeks as well. I've been doing them using wrist wraps. So yes, blood flow restriction here, and what it does is it actually taps my legs out, and my hips and glutes compensate for the fact that my legs are tired, and makes hitting the targeted muscle a whole lot easier. Front squats, that has been for sure the highlight. This was 315 for 6 sets of 3. This was the final set, and this has kind of been like my project of late. I haven't been back squatting much, but this movement has felt very predictable, very efficient. So I've been kind of riding this one, and it's kind of a pipe dream to front squat 400 pounds. So hopefully, if all goes according to plan, in the next 2 months or so, I should be able to bury that. So that's the goal. I'm throwing it out there. So in 2 months, I want to be able to front squat 400 pounds. And I told Omar that if I end up getting 1 rep with 405, at that point, I'm just going to YOLO it and dip down for another one. So Liana, who is pretty much my everyday training partner at this point, she's been dealing with some knee injuries, and that is her doing blood flow restriction goblet squats, and she's just been finding ways to work around it to make some sort of progress while being smart about it. And it's really helped me get my stuff together, especially on days where sometimes the stuff that's written on the program, it's like can I really do this? And this day in particular was one of those days where I think it was 295 for 4 sets of 6, and I was totally like, I don't even know if it's gonna happen. But seeing her doing what she can, and also seeing the behind the scenes stuff where she's a little frustrated because she can't, everything isn't as healthy as she'd like it to be. Really like makes me feel, I guess, privileged to be able to be in a situation where for the most part things are pretty healthy, and even though sometimes the work can be overwhelming, or I just I almost, I wouldn't say chicken out, but there's certainly days where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this, and you get nerves, and sometimes the nerves tend, they take over a bit more than they should. Nothing wrong with being excited and a bit anxious, but seeing her like work through that like makes me realize that I'm privileged at this point in time. So that's been really helping me with my mindset. Also, going outside and doing cardio, I got my the weather's nice again, and it really tends to affect my training in a positive way. So I'll definitely take you guys on some of the more epic hikes this year. So I definitely look forward to sharing that with you. But that is it for this report. I'm already racking up a lot of good footage for next week's report. I hope next week. Yeah, I said it. Again, thank you guys for the patience. Thank you guys for the support. I really, really appreciate again all the just positive feedback that I have gotten from you guys in regards to how much this does help you guys, and that you guys that it's helpful, and that's always a good feeling. Not just motivating, but helpful. I really appreciate that. I'll leave it here, and I'll see you guys in about a week or so.